I'm Kevin Creighton with ShootingIllustrated.com. Today on I Carry, it's the Walther WMP chambered in .22 Magnum. It's a really interesting gun. Let's take a look at it. So, we don't really hear much about kit guns anymore, but there used to be a very valid niche of guns out there. One of my favorite guns is a .22 caliber revolver that I inherited from my father-in-law when he passed away. He carried that on his hip all throughout northern Arizona on his hunting and camping trips, and it's a terrific gun. The Walther WMP is kind of the spiritual successor to that sort of gun. I could see this as a perfect kit gun. That's a gun that you take with you outdoors, but it's not really your primary rifle or shotgun. Rather, it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. It's kind of meant to do a whole lot of different things good, and some things really well. Well, what does it do well? Well, first off, .22 Magnum is just a hoot to shoot in a semi-automatic pistol like this. This holds 15 rounds of it. It's very accurate, very easy recoil. We'll talk about it in just a second here. But a kit gun is meant to really be there for varmints if they pop up. It's meant to dispatch any game that might need a second shot. And it's also kind of have a secondary role as a self-defense gun. And honestly, this gun is just absolutely perfect for that. It's a hammer-fired blowback action gun that holds 15 rounds. And let's take a look and see some of the other things that it can do. .22 Magnum might not be your first choice for a self-defense caliber, but that doesn't mean it's an ineffective choice. I recommend it as a defensive caliber for those people who can't handle the recoil or rack the slide of a 9mm pistol. Is it the best? No. Does it work? Yes, absolutely. Now, this is not a small gun. It's actually bigger than a government model 1911, but it's not a heavy gun because it's made of polymer. It weighs just over 28 ounces in weight unloaded, so it's actually quite easy to carry around all day. It holds 15 rounds of .22 Magnum, which is less than other guns that are similar to this gun. On the other hand, it does have a single stack magazine, which means that it is going to be probably a more reliable gun than guns that use rimfire ammunition and a double stack magazine. It has a really nice trigger. It comes in at just over 4 pounds, and it's just a joy to shoot. It's hammer fired, which is nice as well, and it uses a regular blowback action. The gun is optics ready, which comes with 2 plates that you can mount your choice of red dot onto the gun. Now, one of the things I added to this gun when we shot it was a Streamlight X300 weapon-mounted light, and there was a reason for that. The first reason is it allowed the use of the PHLster Floodlight holster, which is not a bad idea considering this gun is very new and there isn't a whole lot of holsters out there for it. We'll talk about that holster in just a bit, but I'd also like to talk about why we use a weapon-mounted light on a gun like this. Now, consider the fact that a kit gun is your gun to do all the things that your rifle or your shotgun can't do, and that includes self-defense. And can that self-defense situation happen at night where you may not be 100% certain of what you're shooting at? And you're not going to have the opportunity to flick on the house lights because, well, you don't have any. You're out in the middle of the wilderness. Then yes, a weapon-mounted light on something that is used for personal defense when you're out and about in the field is an absolute terrific idea, and I endorse it 100%. The gun also has a fiber optic front sight and a blacked out rear sight, which is my favorite type of sight, so I really like that a lot. Let's talk about the feature though that really makes this gun stand out, and that's the magazine releases. And yes, I did use the word releases because there's more than one. There's actually 4 of them on this gun. There's one on the right side of the frame, one on the left hand side of the frame, which is not unusual for an ambidextrous gun. But there's also a paddle release on both sides of the trigger guard, so there's actually 4 different ways to drop the magazine out of this gun. At first I thought, oh, that's terrific, 4 times the opportunity to drop a fully loaded mag out of the gun when you're shooting it. This didn't happen though. The magazines were held securely throughout all of our shooting, and I was able to drop them on command without any issues at all. So yes, it's actually a very nice setup. And it's not a bad idea for other guns, I gotta be honest. I mean, rather than train your hand to work one specific way, why not provide as many opportunities as you can to drop a magazine when it's no longer needed? Overall, I found the gun ridiculously easy to shoot. It's a lot of fun. I love shooting .22 Magnum and larger size guns, and this gun was no exception. Now, let's talk about the PHLster Floodlight holster. The Floodlight is a unique design that retains your gun based by holding onto the weapon-mounted light on the front of it and not onto the frame of the gun itself. That way, it doesn't really matter what kind of gun you have. As long as the holster that you have is designed to work with the light that you have, your gun can fit into the holster. The Floodlight is like other PHLster designs. It's really well built. You can see that the mold lines are crisp. The retention is very positive. It uses high quality components. They really do a good job with their holsters. The Floodlight is also ambidextrous right out of the box. It works for right-hand or left-handed users. The version I had was the inside the waistband model, which by the way also works on the hip position or at the 3 o'clock position, as well as it does appendix position, which is where I carried it. And if you want to carry it outside the waistband, well, they have a version for that as well. It is a really great holster for this sort of application, and I love them. If a kit gun like the Walther WMP is a multi-tool, well, it just made sense to team this gun up with an actual multi-tool, in this case an SOG Power Access Deluxe. The Power Access lineup has gears built inside the pliers that allow you to get a really nice leverage on whatever you're gripping, and it also allows you a nice comfortable grip as you're using them. It's a real nice feature. It has 3 different blades, which I like a lot because I've never been a big fan of the combination straight and serrated edge blades. In this case, however, it has a straight edge, a separate serrated edge blade, and a saw blade, giving you a wide range of options. And speaking of a wide range of options, there's 20 different tools on this thing, ranging from different screwdrivers to an awl, to a file, to just about anything you can imagine. And the nice thing about it is as well, is that it's got a built-in 1/4-inch driver for hex bits, and includes 12 different hex bits, which means you can attack just about any fastener you can think of out in the field and get that thing locked down tight. So a real nice little option on this multi-tool. Speaking of nice little options on the multi-tools, it also has a very rugged, solidly built nylon pouch that is MOLLE compatible that will hold both the multi-tool and the hex bits, which is a great little touch. It gives you everything you need right at your fingertips. Thanks for watching, and for more information on the products that we've mentioned in this video and other information on other guns, accessories, and gears, be sure to visit shootingillustrated.com and tune in next week for another episode of iCarry.